Hey, so today I'll be watching Bibliophile Princess, Episode 3. But of course, as I always do now, I just want to mention a few things before I get into this episode. The first being my book's background. So at the bottom I have the mythology book. Above it is a treasury of best-loved fairy tales. Then the fantasy book, Go the Distance. Then the historical fiction book, Victoria Rebels, the light novel of 5 centimeters per second. And then an old classic, White Fang. And the last thing I want to mention was my shirt. So I bought this shirt specifically because of this series. Well, actually, what I plan to do now, for the remaining 10 episodes, is to buy book-based shirts, just for this series. And the first one I decided to buy was this one, since it says Booktrovert, which is basically a combination of a book lover and an introvert, which of course is me. And below Booktrovert is its definition. A person who prefers the company of fictional characters to real people. Which again, does not sound great, but it is what it is, and it's very much true. I mean, they call it a fantasy for a reason. Typically you don't have to deal with a bunch of real life things in books. And I also think this is a very good idea as to how obsessive I can be, I guess, over things. After one episode, I decided to buy a bunch of book-related shirts. And I typically give animes a 3-episode rule. And it wasn't even one episode, it was 5 minutes into the episode. I was already convinced I was gonna love this series. And I thought it'd be a nice touch. Not just the background of books and the bookmark, but also having shirts that are themed around it. Which actually I wouldn't normally do, because, well, that's a lot of money. But I really love this series so far, and I'm willing to take the chance and invest in it in this way, even though I get nothing out of it, other than, of course, just watching the series, which is enough for me, honestly. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much it, so on to the episode. What do you mean by that? He likes you, girl. They're all calling her Ellie now? I thought it was a Prince Christopher and her family type of thing. She's starting to care about others. That's sweet. Elder Bernstein? No, I was enjoying that though. He's not gonna like that. Okay, that answers. Okay, that's the answer I was hoping for. At least that's answered. What requirements? He's a prince. Why would he say no? He just wants to have time with Ileana. What is she, a Pokemon? Which I'm surprised by. Yeah, that's a hard ask. Mm-hmm. Was she faking being sick? Smart.
エリーに誤解させること。あの時は頭には自覚してもらえたようだことを本当に反省して、エリーのために探し求めた本、喜ぶ顔が見たかった。もう一度受け取ってもらえるかな。
Is this like a ring or something?
そう思い込んでいたけれど、はい、ありがとうございます。
エリー、
天下、我が家の隠し名とは何ですか？
You're asking that now?
でもよかったんじゃない？エリー、
Ironically, she can't read the room or the situation.
先ほど王立図書館の方ですが、今日は何かお気に障ることが。
困ったものだ。
Ah, flashback. Mistreatment of books.
本に謝りなさい。誰に向かって関係ありません。
I knew she didn't know who he was.
あなたは口が聞けないでも教わったのですか？
Okay.
たかが書物ではないか。たかが。あなたは何歳ですか？12歳だ。あなたが投げたこの書物は歴史的書物です。それがどう？あなたなどこの本に比べたら
Dang.
ピヨピヨのピヨコです。ピヨコ。偉大なる先人に謝りなさい。すまなかった。
Oh, he apologized. I see he fell in love with her because she didn't treat him like everybody else did, and I think mainly because she doesn't know that he's a prince.
何を読んでるの？また本に来られた。もうしないよ。その本は東方にある国の伝承記です。面白いの？ええ。
翻訳のご相談を
ご令状だ。
して相手のお名前は？
父上も最初。
Naturally.
まあ、だったのですか？
Oh my god, she doesn't realize it.
昔話をしているんだよ。
Oh my god, why do I relate to her so much?
申し訳ありません。
エリーの中では最悪な印象だ。
Aww.
私はその時初めてベルン市の人間や王宮のごく一部。
Makes sense since they're all a bunch of book lovers.
ルフレットもその能力は高く評価。二人ともベルン市に埋もれて暮らすなんだ。本に囲まれて暮らすこと、能力に重きを置かないところがベルンシュタイン家の
光栄な話ですが、ただの本好き一族の話だと思って。
贋作と見破った時の。
今はもうない鉱石を使い、独自の配合で生み出されたと美術書にありました。
書によれば文様も。アレクと二人。
あれは本を読んで
それだけじゃない。ワイン助言してくれたおかげなんだ。まさにサウズリンドの頭脳。君は自らそれを証明していたんだ。だが権力におもねることのないベルンシュない要求と父上もしたんだ。
I imagine his mother was approving of this, I guess.
ベルンシュタイン公爵に打診してしまった。
Oh, that's sweet. At just 12 years old, he was absolute that he was gonna marry her.
君は王都からいなくなっていた。領地へ返されてしまっていたんだ。あの時の自分の迂闊からしばき倒してやりたいよね。
自分を後ろから縛って立つのは無理。
This girl taking it literally. Wow.
エリーが社交界デビューして私のこと全然
Oh.
誰に声をかけ同じように挨拶を返すし。
殿下、それは普通のことなので大変な失礼を。
エリー、鈍すぎる君であっても
Too dull.
私の気持ちは変わったりし、やっとの思いで捕まえたんだ。
Again, is she a Pokemon?
殿下のお気持ちがルーンシュタインの名ではなく私個人を望んでくださっていると。でも私は置き先教育を受けていません。
すでに母上や女官たちがこう言っている。礼儀作法、容姿、性質も。
私は社交が得意ではありません。
そんなことはないよ。貧客をもてなすとき、母上は気や言語などが助けになっていたんだ。
婚約者の役割だとばかり。
君は自分の力で
後出しが多すぎて上で転がされている感が否め胸の中にあった不安が。
ねえエリー、人の上に君や私の周りにはそれを補ってくれる人たち。私はこの先もずっと。エリーはそれを望まない？
いてもよろしいのですか？
エリアーナ、後にも先にも私がそばに望むの。
今はっきりこの4年間私に書物だけではわからない世界があることを。
私の愛しい虫かぶり姫。
It's over already? I want more. I swear that each episode just proves to me that I was right in saying that I already loved this series from the first episode. To me, it's refreshing, honestly. Things are cleared up, not immediately, but at the very least, they don't drag on for too long. Most things are cleared up like in that episode. They also answer questions that I had, just like Eliana had, when she was like, Fairy Princess? Is that me? Why do they call me that? And then Alan's like, I'm the one who spread that name for you. And I'm like, thank you for answering that question that I had. Like, at least to me, this anime series is really different than most. And to me, Eliana's like too funny. Like, she doesn't mean to be that funny, but she is. Like, literally after he just said in public and everything, who hears any objections of Eliana being my princess? And everybody was singing her praises, saying a bunch of nice things about her. She's just like, but I'm a phony fiance. Even after all that, I'm like, girl, realize what is right in front of you. Prince Christopher loves you. He's told the public about it. Realize that he actually loves you. Then the fact that she's just way too relatable in her like forgetfulness and everything because of her love for books. That even when he was telling her literally how they met and everything that happened, she's like, who was that person? I'm like, it's you! Clearly it's you. And he was so disappointed. He was like, I was talking about us. You didn't realize it? I was like, oh my god, this girl. It's like, why do I relate to her so much? Oh, honestly. But I also knew that it would be a typical cliche that they met when they were younger. She, of course, treated him like nobody's ever treated him before. Typical, you know, spoiled, rotten, or rich prince people. She treated him normally, not like one would treat somebody who's either spoiled or a prince. And I felt like even if she did know he was the prince, she wouldn't care. She would be like, nope, like, my family loves books. I'm not gonna let this prince treat books like that. And of course, of all things, he was into that. It was like, alright, somebody finally said something to me. I want to marry this girl. Which I thought was a really adorable thing. Although I did like that it wasn't super immediate that he liked her. He was still against her. He was like, I'm not gonna apologize to a book. And she's like, you better apologize because you're just a child compared to this book and everything. And he's like, okay then, I'm sorry. Like, she really was very strong-willed in what she was saying. And he was really like, okay, I'll listen. She had a very commanding way of commanding a prince. And I think he liked the fact that there was some anonymity between them. She probably didn't know he was the prince. And so then she treated him like any other normal person. Although it was so sad that she didn't remember. How could you not remember that? I feel like I would remember that. Mainly because of the whole book mistreatment. But still, I'm like, that is so sad that she would forget. And he's just like, and I thought I left an impression on you, but I guess I didn't. Which in a way is a good and a bad thing because... Good because her first impression would be, oh, this guy mistreats books. But bad because, well, she forgot him. And even when he went to her debut, she just treated him like he was anybody else as well. There was no special greeting or anything with him. She was just like, hi. She just said whatever she said to anybody else. Nothing special or anything. Though I really did like that they showed the relationship, how it didn't happen immediate. It was through a certain amount of time. And that he was so into the idea of marrying her that he went immediately to her father to ask for her hand in marriage. And also I couldn't believe, in a way, the audacity that this family's like, we don't care you're a prince, we have requirements for you to meet. And I'm just like, my god, who would say that to? Like, the royal family, literally. The prince, a little prince is asking to marry your daughter. And you're like, nah, you're still not ready yet. And I'm like, what? Although there were good things though. One was winning the favor of other nobles without the use of their name. And two, getting her to be more into him than she is of books, which is really not an easy thing to do. It hasn't happened to me yet, so I'm honestly surprised that this happened to her. She's like, I finally found something other than books. And I'm like, girl, I'm not there yet. And I'm like, wow, he really did a number on her these past 4 years. It was successful. Though also this makes me question, how old are they? I know she's 18, but is he also the same age? Because I assumed she was like younger than him. But when he said, oh, even when I became of age and I wanted to get married already, I couldn't really do anything because I hadn't met all the requirements yet. And I was like, wait, how old are you? And how young did you intend to marry her? Like when you were 18 and she was barely 14? I mean, I was like, dang, that's extreme. Although in a way also sweet, like if they have the 4-year age difference or however much, it was sweet though that he was so in love with her. He really wanted to make sure nobody else could have a chance at proposing to her or getting her attention before he could. And also they didn't shy away from the fact that his family wasn't too into the idea. Well, at least his father and his chancellor were not into the idea. They never really said anything about his mother, though I'm assuming by what he said that when she mentioned that she hadn't taken any classes yet, which typically you do, when you're doing like a royal family, there's training and everything you go through to make sure you're prepared for it. And he's like, oh no, the queen said that you're fine. You're good as you are, you don't really need any more training. So I'm assuming the mom really likes her. And I also like the fact that she's actually very aware of her shortcomings. Where she's like, well, I'm really into books. I'm not overly aware of things. And I'm not very social. I was like, oh wow, so she is consciously aware of the fact that she's not social. I mean, yeah, of course she would be. She's more into books than people. Just like the shirt says. But that even then, her knowledge from all these books actually helps her with that too. Which is another thing that I really liked about this series, where they shine a light, which most of the series really don't do, which is like reading really helps out in this series. Her knowledge of a bunch of things helped the market, helped people learn about old things that they forgot about, helped in a lot of ways. And I'm glad that the whole book reading thing is getting praised, and not really like pushed to the side. That she is the way that she is, and she knows these things because of the books. And she was even able to tell something was fake when really nobody else could. Which really makes sense that their alias has to do with the mind, because they are really knowledgeable. I also love the banter between Prince Christopher and Lord Theodore, because Lord Theodore's all like really pushing it with like, oh, you know, she prefers me because I'm in charge of the archives and we spend a lot of time together. And he's like, please stop saying it as if you're having an affair with her. And I'm just like, I wish I saw more of that banter. But of course, his assistant is like, please stop the banter. And I'm like, please don't stop the banter. I want more of this banter. More jealousy, please. Also the irony of the fact that she's really into books. She loves reading. That's all she ever does. Yet she's incapable of reading the room. She somehow couldn't figure out he was serious when he told everybody in public, this is who I chose as princess. Because she's still like, oh, but I'm a phony princess. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm a phony fiance. I'm like, no, you're not. He literally just said it. If I understood it, how could you not understand this? And then when clearly he was about to kiss her, she was like, what's our family alias? I'm like, girl, read the room. You love to read. How are you incapable of reading a room? That's a very funny irony right there. But I'm really glad that finally at the end of the episode, they kissed. That's another thing. I was like, they don't wait long to resolve anything so far in this series. They resolved the issue with Irene in an episode and a half. Because, you know, the other half of the first episode was about Lady Irene. And it ended in the last episode. And now this whole phony fiance thing was cleared up. Her feelings for him were cleared up. And they finally kissed, so now their relationship is even more cemented now. This series really wastes no time in clearing up things, which is a very nice change of pace in typical animes. Since I'm really used to like seeing couples get together or somebody finally trying to kiss somebody else till the end of the series. And here it's like, no, here it is in episode 3. It was at the end of the episode, but here it is. And I really wanted to see more of the episode, but it went by super fast. I was like, it's over. I want more of this episode. Episode 4 can't come fast enough. And again, I feel a little bit more talkative this episode than I did in the last one, probably because it's been over a week since I've done the video thing. And right now I'm a little bit more comfortable with like talking. I'm really excited. And I feel like in the second episode, I wasn't really too relaxed. That's typically how it goes with me. After watching one episode of a series or any other anime series, I'm stiff. But yet right now, with this third episode, because I watched it immediately after because I waited specifically for the shirt to come. And also because last week I couldn't watch it because there was too much noise going on in my house. So I couldn't watch the second episode last week. So I watched it today as well. I just changed shirts, that's basically it. And since that was the first episode I saw, episode 2, right before this episode, I was a little bit more stiff, but now I'm more relaxed. And also, I feel a little bit more things happened this episode than the other one. Not that it wasn't super interesting, but I just loved how things were clarified in this episode. And now she realized all these 4 years, I love books, but I found a new light. I found a new source of happiness for me. It's not just books anymore, it's Christopher. And the fact that he made it abundantly clear that she's like the only one for him. And she's like, he doesn't want my family name. He wants me. And I'm like, she realized it. And also, goddamn you, fantasy. And it was such a sweet moment where she realized that. And he's like, you're the only one for me. And she's super happy about it. which again reminded me of the manga series Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. When Sarpy is very insecure of her position of being his fiancé and his feelings for her, His Majesty is always there to clarify things. He's like, "You're my queen." Even though they're not technically married yet, he calls her like, "You're my queen. You're the only woman I care about. It doesn't matter to me if you wear jewelry or fancy clothes. Even just wearing plain clothes, you're the most beautiful person in the world to me." I just gotta say, I just love this type of genre because I don't see this a whole lot anymore. I see this a bit in older animes. Another example being Maid-sama, because Usui only has eyes for Misaki. And it's even said by one of the side characters. I really want more of these type of series, where the men are straight up and telling them how they feel, and the women are super happy about it. And I actually think I like this a little bit more, no, honestly, a lot more, so far at least, than Ascendance of a Bookworm. Mainly because so many things are happening, not a lot of time is wasted. Not that I don't love the other series, it's good world building, and of course things happen in a slower pace, but here it's refreshing to see it's going in a faster pace. And I think if things keep going as they are, I might just even buy the official Nendoroids of them. Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some. If Chainsaw Man has Nendoroids and the first episode wasn't even out yet when you can already pre-order them, I don't see why this anime series won't have any. Although that being said, I believe Ascendance of a Bookworm doesn't have any yet, so maybe this one won't either, but I'm hoping it does. And honestly, the only thing for me that would make this even more relatable was if she was an animal lover too. She likes animals probably, but like, I kinda wish she also had like a dog or something because I have 3 dogs. I think I'm just projecting on this character at this point. I'm like, why can't she have animals too like me? So get like the full, characters like me type of situation. Also, one last thing that I noticed when I'm doing these videos is the fact that I last a lot longer recording these videos than I do with any other anime series that I've been watching. Typically, it's about 45 minutes, more or less, an episode. Though sometimes less, half an hour, now that I have control over the AC. Because before, that's what was stopping me from making more videos, was the fact that the AC in my house would constantly be on. And I didn't realize that at one point, when I was recording the first episode of Love All Play, as I was editing it, I saw that, oh wait, you can literally hear in the background super loud the AC. And typically the AC is on for like maybe an hour or less. It'll turn off for like 15 to 20 minutes, then it'll turn back on again. And it frustrated me because I would be trying to watch an episode and thought it would take me a little bit to get things ready, like everything into place, the episode set up, everything ready. By the time that I finished my intro and then I got into the episode itself, 10-15 minutes into the episode, I'd have to stop recording because of the AC, then wait for the AC to turn off, and then continue again, which would make me last even longer recording the videos. Though now that I was told how to control the AC, I'm not capable of doing these videos, and now actually I see that, especially with these, I'm a lot longer. Right now I'm like about to be 1 hour into recording of this video, and I'm probably only going to be showing maybe 20 or so minutes or less probably. I think at least to me that shows that, wow, I'm very talkative with this series. Mainly because, the theme of books and my obsession over books and anime and everything. I also think I found my genre. Shoujo with the hint of books. Also apparently it has a manga series. Though I believe that both the manga and the light novel series are not available in physical form. You can only get them in the Kindle version. Which again, I find really strange that the Bibliophile Princess series is not available in a physical book. Well, now that I mention it, it kind of begs the question, if Eliana was able to get Kindle books, would she like that or would she not? I feel like part of her would like it because, well, it would literally be like all the books ever in one place and, more history is recorded. But also, she would prefer physical copies because somebody wrote that. It's literally recorded history on paper and she's used to physical books. Just one last thing I want to say is that if you can, get yourself somebody like Prince Christopher or even His Majesty from the manga series, Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Because both of them are super supportive of their fiancés and really want to cater to their interests. So I really can't wait until next week's episode.